World Beach Games in Bali, and the hills have eyes. Intriguing? Stay tuned for details. Selamat malam. Welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is April 8th, 2023, and my name is Bruce. And what is the weather like? Well, right now it's nighttime. A little windy. It's 28.9 degrees Celsius. Humidity is 67%. Hopefully it will not rain tonight. It was a nice day today. Very, very hot when we were out walking and very sunny. So, a lovely day. Let's hope that this is the dry season is here. Okay, let's get started. Bali governor urged to keep a local focus. This has to do with the World Beach Games coming up in the month of August, and they're supposed to be held here in Bali. A member of Bali's Provincial House of Representatives, the DPRD, has cautioned Bali Governor Pak Koster of possible unwanted consequences if he takes actions that will have a detrimental impact on the World Beach Games in Bali from August 5th to August 12th. The legislator does not want to see the U20 World Cup experience repeated, with World Beach Games removed from Bali by its organizers. And I'm going to talk about the World Cup in just a minute after this segment. The deputy chairman of the DPRD, Nyoman Sugawa Kori, said any objections that the governor may have regarding the participation of Israeli athletes at the World Beach Games should be delivered directly to the central government, who are the host country of the Bali Games, not Bali province. According to Pak Kori, because the hosting of the World Beach Games is a national event organized by the central government, it's outside the authority of the provincial government to cancel the event. The provincial government, he said, is obligated to execute the decisions and policies of the national government. The chairman of Commission 2 of DPRD, Pak Krishna, also asked Governor Koster to focus on taking care of matters of import to Bali and not interfere in the operation of World Beach Games 2023. Mr. Governor, he said, it is best to just focus on the interest of Bali. People have worked to bring major events to Bali to help the island emerge from the business downturn caused by COVID-19. It will be strange if the governor wants to cause the World Beach Games to fail. Earlier, the governor placed conditions on the participation of Israeli athletes in the World Beach Games. Among the conditions set by the governor was that the national anthem of the State of Israel must not be performed in Indonesia during the Games. The governor explained that regulations issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs forbid the singing of the Israeli national anthem on Indonesian territory. President Jokowi said he had not received a formal report regarding Governor Koster's refusal to allow Israelis to participate in the World Beach Games. And so the governor is at odds again with the national government as well as people in his own government here in Bali. You may remember that Pak Sandiaga Uno, the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, had plans to help pump up Bali's economy by bringing many sporting events here. Well, not just to Bali, to Indonesia, but specifically to Bali as well, along with other kinds of activities. So the governor, I don't know, he's in a strange place. I'm not sure what's going on with the governor these days. Let's take a look at what FIFA did about the fiasco with the U20 World Cup. FIFA freezes funding for PSSI, a yellow card for Indonesia, Erick Thohir. So the International Association Football Federation, FIFA, has frozen funding for the Indonesian Football Association, PSSI, as a punishment for refusing entry to the Israeli team for the U20 World Cup, which subsequently led to the stripping of Indonesia's hosting rights for the event. Commenting on the sanction, PSSI Chairman Erick Thohir said that this is a lesson to learn from the Indonesian football industry. Wow, I'm having trouble speaking tonight. In a press release issued the other day, he said he was relieved that Indonesia can avoid more severe sanctions, which is the exclusion of world football. Pak Thohir said that with this light sanction, Indonesia can still compete in the 2023 SEA Games. Rejection for the U20 was made by a number of political parties such as PDIP and PKS, two governors from PDIP, Java Tengah's Ganjar Pranowo, and Bali's own Pak Koster, even blatantly refused to allow the Israeli team from competing in their province. And so, Indonesia has gotten away with pretty much just a slap on the hand here, a yellow card, not a red card, and so they will be able to continue to participate in events, the Indonesian football team. You may remember that President Jokowi and a number of other political figures, national political figures, as well as local political figures, said don't mix politics and sports. But the governor seems to be intent on doing just that. So are we going to have the World Beach Games here? It seems like we are at this point, but who knows? Stay tuned. I'll keep following up on this until we get a definite yes or no. Okay, and now on to the second main story. The Hills Have Eyes. Okay, that title is slightly misleading. I use that title. If you're a horror fan, you know what the Hills Have Eyes is. And I was going to put as the title, The People Have Eyes, but I like The Hills Have Eyes. I don't know, I'm an old film fan, so that's just what I picked there. But the idea is the same. Everywhere you go, there are eyes watching. What are they watching? They're watching us, foreigners. And here's the first story, and I'll explain more about that. Causing noise? Tourists in Bali drive red plate motorcycle owned by worker. A red plate, by the way, indicates a government-owned vehicle. A video of a tourist riding a motorcycle with a red plate number has gone viral on social media since Wednesday. Identification showed that the white Yamaha Vixen with the number of the Bululang Regency was an official motorcycle for the village head of Bukti village up here in Bululang. Netizens expressed their frustration at seeing that official vehicles could be boarded by tourists until finally a clarification video appeared from a young man who claimed to be the son of the head of the province. He explained what actually happened. So what happened was that the Perbakel of the village was down in Denpasar on official business. He decided to stop at his son's house so he could see his grandson, and so while he was there hanging out with his grandson, a tourist who was at his son's house and who, according to the story, was just like a family member, borrowed the motorcycle to go to an ATM to get some money and then get something to drink. And as he was out driving through Denpasar, of course, some netizens saw him and phone came out and a video went viral. Why is a foreigner driving an official vehicle? Everybody got upset. So Pak Perdana, the Perbakel of the village, said he had no idea what was going on. He was having dinner, and the acting regent and the regional secretary called him and said, "What is going on? Why is there a foreigner driving your motorbike around?" And he said the sub-district government also came to the house to check on the motorbike that I brought and had at home. He said, "I didn't expect things to be like this." After providing clarification and submitting an apology, Pak Wardana's son made a clarification video explaining the events that actually happened and apologized, and this has been circulated on social media. The acting regent of Bululang said that he's given a verbal warning to the official about the incident, and he hopes that similar incidents will not happen in the future. After investigation, it was proved that Pak Wardana's excuse was in fact true, and he was not, as they were trying to find out, I guess, renting his motorbike out to tourists, which I guess popped up into their head. And so in the near future, the Bululang Regency government will distribute a circular, an SE, not only to all Perbakel, but also to all regional officials, saying that the use of government facilities should be properly maintained and function according to their designation. What is interesting about this story, besides the fact that it went viral quickly, well, it shows that people are watching. Foreigners are under suspicion these days of doing all sorts of awful things, riding motorbikes without helmets, riding without shirts on, riding without licenses. And in this case, this guy was doing nothing, this tourist. He had a helmet on, he had a shirt on. He just happened to be riding the wrong type of motorbike and probably had no idea that what he was doing was against the rules. So these days, the people have eyes and they have phones. And people are looking at what is going on with us and making sure that all the tourists are behaving according to the rules. Now, you may not like that, but that's the way things are. We should be behaving according to the rules, and we're going to be under a lot of scrutiny, as I said. The election cycle for next year is already underway, and nationalism rises as it does in many countries. Take a look at what's happening in the US, for example. And so, yeah, we're just there. We're like a bug under glass. People keeping an eye on us. So, what do you need to do? You need to follow the rules. If you follow the rules, there's no problem. And I know some people are going to say, well, I'll just go to Thailand. You can go to Thailand. The local people want tourists to come. They just want tourists to behave while they're here. If you want to be free to do whatever you want, yeah, you can try and go to Thailand or go to Vietnam or go somewhere else. That's certainly your prerogative. But if you want to come and hang out in Bali, have a good time, learn about the local culture, or maybe just sit around a pool and drink beer, great. You just have to follow the rules. It's not that hard. Here is another example, an extreme one, but I read 9 stories today about this in different local media, and it just puts more focus on us. Like, why are foreigners doing these kind of things? So what happened here? Caucasian makes trouble at cafe, injures a waitress who serves him with a knife. So this time, an American, not a Russian, an American, was arrested carrying a sharp weapon. He actually had 2 sharp weapons. So what happened? He went to a cafe, to a diamond cafe in Badung, and he wanted to have some drinks. And so he was drinking, and the waitress, I guess, walked away from him. He said, "Don't leave me, stay here." And he grabbed her, and she tried to get away. He cut her thigh with his knife. It turned out he had 2 knives. He had one that they call a pen knife in most of the stories, a folding knife, and the other was apparently a big one. They call it a bayonet in another story. And so he cut the young lady, and she ran away screaming for help, and people came by, which just infuriated the American even more, and he began knocking on tables and threatening the other guests that were there. Eventually, police were called, and they were able to get him under control, handcuffed him, took him to the police station, said he was extremely drunk. The waitress, who was injured, said she didn't know this person. She had never seen him before. He just went off on her. So the perp is subject to Article 2, Paragraph 1 of Emergency Law Number 12 of 1951 and Article 335 of the Criminal Code concerning threats and Article 351 of the Criminal Code concerning persecution with a maximum sentence of 12 years in prison. He won't end up being deported yet. He's going to do some time for this one, most likely, and then he'll be deported. There's a link to an article down here that says Bali is overrun by influencers. Locals are fighting back. I'm not going to go through it. It kind of does a rundown of all of the different things that have been happening here with foreigners being in the news for this reason and that reason. And they went to this place in Ubud, some fancy place. I can't remember the name of it right now. I don't really care actually about it. That's not a kind of place I would go to where digital nomads and influencers and whatever hang out. And so they wrote this article about what is happening with the influx of influencers and how local people are getting upset about some of the bad behavior. And of course, it's being amplified because it's all over social media. And there was another story, which I'm not going to go into either because I don't have a link here right now. But a young lady, I guess another Californian, was surfing, and there was some incident out in the water. She was cut off, whereas another guy was cut off, but a guy came and sucker punched her in the water. followed her up onto the land, and a couple of guys started screaming, saying, well, some very rude things, and punched her again, and went after her friend who was filming this. And of course, this went viral. And so we've got foreigners attacking foreigners. We got foreigners attacking Indonesians. The overwhelming majority of people that are here, foreigners that are here, they just want to have a good time. They want to learn about the culture. They want to go out and eat. They want to hang out. They want to drink beer. They don't want to violate any laws. They're not going to get into bar fights and things. But the bad apples, well, it's just reflecting on all of us at this point. So this is not going to get better as long as we keep having these incidents here. It's a sad state right now for foreigners here in Bali. So are things going to get better? I hope so. I hope so. People just need to behave. Wow. And what about Ubud? So I was watching the monkey video, I said to you, and they were showing the new market, which, well, I'll be diplomatic about the new market. I like the old one. Ubud Public Market will improve tourism. So Bali's governor was inaugurating the Ubud Tourism Thematic Public Market in Gianyar, and he said the market will be an instrument to increase the province's tourism appeal. Governor Koster praised Gianyar's regent for establishing the market that aligns with Ubud's tourism history. He said the Ubud market is expected to be one of our persistent efforts to enhance the tourism services we have to offer that in turn would help improve the people's welfare. In addition to inaugurating the market, the governor signed a statue of the province's historical figure, Ida Chokorda Agung Sukawati, that's situated in the middle of the market. And he said that the statue is considered as a historical monument as it embodies Sukawati's deed in placing the foundation stone for tourism in Bali. He said that during the decade of the 1930s, Sukawati had succeeded in etching his name in history for his unswerving efforts in developing cultural tourism in Bali. Where is cultural tourism these days? The governor said the monument is of high importance to the next generation as it presents a reminder of the need for preservation of our cultural tourism so that Bali, in the context of tourism, can maintain its competitiveness in the face of local, national, and even global dynamics. So, how do you feel about the new market in Ubud? Have you seen it? I guess it's just about ready to open. Do you like it? Do you prefer it to the old market? The old market was a little dingy and crowded, but that's what I liked. It reminded me of, well, traditional Bali. I've taken a look at Ubud today, and it could be any tourist place anywhere in the world, unfortunately. And what about here in Bulalang? To prevent parking leaks, the council asked to implement electronic parking in all places. So in the Pasar Anyar, that's the traditional market right in the middle of town, right off of Jalan Diponegoro there, and I've done a couple of videos there in the past. Commission 3 DPRD Bulalang asked for parking fees to be optimized because the 2022 revenue was down. It was minimal. According to data compiled by Java Post Radar Bali in 2022, the Bulalang Transportation Service, this hub, was given a target of 5.6 billion rupiahs in retribution revenue, but they were only able to get 2.74 billion. Wow. That's really off. One of the reasons, according to this, was that 2022 was still pandemic time. Member of the commission, Pak Dodi, questioned the government's performance in collecting parking fees. He said this needs to be addressed because the realization was not up to 50% of the target. Yeah. And there is now an electronic system at the market. I haven't tried it yet, but I will be doing that coming up. He urged the government to take strategic steps. Pak Dodi also appreciated the implementation of electric parking on Jalan Durian to prevent revenue leakage. However, he requested that the application of electronic parking be evaluated comprehensively. If it's effective, please apply it in other places as well so that regional income is more optimal. And Where are they thinking about applying it? Right over here at the harbor, right? They're going to put in electronic ticketing. That's what the plan is. Right now, there's a guy who sits at a little desk when you come in, and you're supposed to pay. Now, sometimes people pay and sometimes they don't. I don't know. And there's a way actually to sneak in, but I'm not going to let that secret out. And so are we going to see electronic parking in the harbor? Be interesting. Okay, and one final segment. I said I was going to talk about South Korea. Here it is. Batik Air Services route to South Korea from 6 Indonesian cities. What are those 6 cities? Medan, Jakarta, Jogja, Surabaya, Bali, and Makassar. Business actors and travelers can choose one of 6 cities to continue the flight to South Korea through Malaysia. So this is a transit flight. You're not flying direct on Batik Air. You're going to fly into KL, and then from KL you're going to continue your journey on to South Korea. According to a spokesperson for Batik Air, said the route has the potential to strengthen the multilateral relationship between 3 countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, and South Korea. In addition, it opens up more business, trade, and tourism opportunities. The international route will also ease the tourists coming to Indonesia. Flights from South Korea and Kuala Lumpur to Indonesia will support the government program in boosting the number of international tourists. What can you expect if you take Batik Air? Well, they're going to use the Boeing 737-800NG aircraft with 12 business seats and 150 economy seats. The fleet is the latest generation sent from the aircraft manufacturer. This aircraft is equipped with free in-flight entertainment on demand, as well as entertainment that can be accessed from mobile and tablet devices supported by Tripper. And so, another way to get to South Korea. I wonder how much this is going to cost. I'm going to keep my eye on this because, well, I really like to go see my friends in South Korea. I've got a lot of friends in South Korea, and I would like my friends in South Korea to come here and visit me as well. And so maybe Batik Air is one option. And so that is it for today. I hope that wherever you are, things are calm and peaceful, and you are having a good time, a great time here. And if you're planning on coming, if you're planning on driving, make sure you got an international license for a motorcycle. And have some insurance too, because a lot of motorcycle accidents here. And the weather should be getting better, so that's a good sign. And I just did a video today. I did it on my cell phone, so it's not in 4K like these are. And you can find a link right up here. I think I'm doing it on the right side this time. It's a little cafe on Jalan Erlangga. It is new, and the food is very tasty. For me, I think the price is very reasonable. I don't know. I don't go to restaurants, so I have nothing to compare it to. But good food, lovely family that runs it. They're friends of mine, so what can I say? So you might want to check that out if you're down here in Singaraja and down around the market or down around by my place. There is a place to have some good food. And inside is air conditioned, or if you're a smoker, you can sit outside. There's 2 tables, but Jalan Erlangga is a pretty busy street, so only hardcore smokers are going to be sitting outside, I think. Okay, that's it. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe, and I will see you next time.